jina vile yalivyo.
Nauliza mwenye aliweka hiyo majina ya Ondeka alikuwa nani?
Mwenye alitumia majina ya si wewe ndio alitumia majina ya Ondeka?
Ulikwako hapo mimi nikiandika hiyo majina ya Ondeka.
Ilikuja bali wewe unafanya.
Nakuuliza ulikwako? No, hata mimi nimefanya. Nimesoma ndugu yangu.
Accountant.
Nimesoma accountant. Niko na CFC, niko na JFC, niko na KBC mheshimiwa. Tukulini nyingi.
From which college? Which university?
Afaton mheshimiwa. Afaton.
Na unafanya kazi gani huko?
Mbalimbali mheshimiwa. Mbalimbali
ni kazi gani?
Ya kutafuta kazi.
Na si umesema hapa wewe ndio ulienda kuchukua vyeti vya wenyewe kwamba umehitimu?
Baada ya kumaliza kazi huku mheshimiwa, nilienda kujaribu kwa huyo mama.
Mwana inyanya, mwana mabele, mwana indumbu.
Walimu umenifikisha, lakini sitakuacha. No, starting in the new curriculum. Everything is well.
My name is Brina Anita. I'm 10 years old. I'm passionate about taking care of the environment. In future, I'd like to be a lawyer and an actress.
You are going to be the very first people to be listening and to see my latest children's book.
My name is Abigail Kulecho, and today I'll be making our chicken biryani.
We're going to learn how to make a tortoise out of coffee cups.
Thank God said him pay out. I'm ahead of them, as she want you.
We want to delve on effective communication.
You see, communication is a two-way.
Yes.
Right? So
there's a difference between talking to each other and talking at each other.
So active listening is being fully present, 100% listening to what the person is talking about. The other one, you need to have emotional intelligence, self-awareness.
There's a whole concept of emotional intelligence. Some of us, the way we speak, inakuanga vile na I feel, mtu wangu acha tu niseme vile na I feel. And when you look at that, you realize you are not sensitive.
Je, umewahi kuwa na deni ya KRA? Basi usiwe na shaka. KRA wakishirikiana na KBC wamekuandalia roadshow murwa kabisa. Jiunge nasi tukufahamishe kuhusu KRA Tax Amnesty Program na jinsi utakavyoweza kusamehewa adhabu na riba na KRA. Pia tutakuwa tunakusaidia kujaza fomu za kodi za mwaka 2024 na kukusaidia na huduma za KRA kwa mtaa wako. Ijumaa tarehe 16 mwezi Mei tutakuwa maeneo ya Karatina, Othaya, Mukurweini, Nyeri na Romoru na Mweiga. KRA, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
Shukisha mzee.
Hapa hakuna stage.
Wala shukisha ama mimi kapiga nduru na pesa yako msilibi.
Mimi sitaki kisirani. Shuka.
Thank you.
Shuka.
Poleni. Wacha nipigia mtu wangu wa insurance kuja washughulikie.
Mtasign hizi forms. In a few weeks time mtakuwa mmepata fidia yenu. Poleni sana.
Wale kampuni ya ipima ilifunga.
Unataka kusema tutapata pesa?
Policyholders Compensation Fund PCF ilibuniwa ili kufidia wadai wa kampuni ya bima ambayo imewekwa katika usimamizi wa kisheria au leseni yake imebatilishwa. Iwapo umejaza claim forms na insurance ikakubali kulipa lakini ikafungwa, tembelea tovuti ya www.pcf.go.ke kisha ufuate taratibu za kujaza claim na utasaidika kupata fidia. Policyholders Compensation Fund, dhamana ya bima yako.
A very good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for making time to join us here on the Lunchtime News on KBC Channel 1. My name is Betty Kiptum and Lucy Maura is my colleague on the sign language interpretation. We have quite a lot lined up for you. We start off with a story on matters corruption, where the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission Wednesday arrested 3 directors of Ramagon Construction Company Limited in connection to ongoing investigations into allegations of procurement irregularities, theft of public funds and fraudulent acquisition of public property. According to EACC, the crimes stem from tenders awarded to the company for the construction of a twin workshops complex at Matili Technical Training Institute in Bungoma County during the 2010-2011 financial year. Wycliffe Okech with more details.
Abdi Bare Abdi, Hassan Bare Abdi and Nagenya Muhammad Dahir, all directors of Ramagon Construction Company Limited, are persons of interest in the ongoing investigations into allegations of procurement irregularities, theft of public funds and fraudulent acquisition of public property stemming from tenders awarded to the company for the construction of a twin workshops complex at Matili Technical Training Institute in Bungoma County during the 2010-2011 financial year. EACC says the trio conspired with public officials to regularly inflate a construction tender from 29 million shillings to over 58 million shillings. EACC further says that Ramagon Construction Company Limited illegally received an overpayment of over 22 million shillings for services not rendered. The company is also accused of fraudulently claiming an additional 9 million shillings from Matili Technical Training Institute, which had already been paid to them, leading to fraudulent disposal of public property through Eshikoni auctioneers and Dominion auctioneers. As part of this disposal, Eshikoni auctioneers has already auctioned a driving school motor vehicle belonging to the institute, valued at 5.4 million shillings for just 1.2 million shillings. EACC says it has acquired adequate evidence to criminally prosecute the trio and recover unlawfully acquired and disposed public property. For Channel 1, I am Wycliffe Okech.
Now, police are investigating the killing of a taxi driver, Samuel Mwangi, whose body was discovered in a thicket in Machakos. The Machakos County Criminal Investigations Officer, Benedict Keegan, confirmed that Njoroge, a resident of Eldama Ravine, suffered severe head and body injuries.
Police say investigations into the murder of the taxi driver, Samuel Mwangi, will be pursued from Naivasha, where the incident is believed to have occurred. According to Njoroge's wife, her husband was allegedly contacted by an individual seeking transportation for a family member to a hospital. After losing contact with him, she filed a missing person report at the Naivasha police station.
This was somebody who was ferried from Maimayo mpaka Machakos, kutubu along the Mombasa Road. I think they wanted to conceal, I don't know if they wanted to conceal something, if they kama kutaka kuficha ama hii mtu aliitwa na watu wanajua. Sasa kaona pengine amejua wakuja watume, lakini kutoka Mai mpaka Machakos ni mbali sana. So we are here to come and identify.
In a separate incident, a driver of a minibus died in Kakamega after the vehicle he was driving caught fire. 3 other people, including a bodaboda operator, are nursing injuries at a Kakamega hospital. Eyewitnesses say the minibus was transporting ethanol when its tires burst, causing the driver to lose control before it overturned multiple times.
Alikuwa anataka kushika emergency na alikuwa kwa kasi sana. Akashika brake ikamshinda. Kuna kijana alikuwa anatembea hapa kwa njia hapa hivi. So kijana alikuwa anatembea njia left. Ikamchapa, ilikuwa imemface direct. So the moment ikamface ikaingia kwa hiyo calabat. Ikagonga, ikaenda Air Force juu. Kitu kama 40 meters.
Meanwhile, a family in Watamu is calling for justice following the alleged assault of their 16-year-old son by police officers at Kizingo Police Station in Malindi, sub-county. The boy, a Form 3 student, was reportedly taken to the station after a disagreement while traveling in a matatu. The victim's family say officers assaulted the boy with a wooden bar, inflicting injuries on his thighs.
Unashangaa kwa nini walifanya kitu kama hicho, na askari ni watu ambao wanafaa kutusaidia sisi wananchi, wala sio kuumiza mtoto mdogo ambaye ako miaka 16 na alikuwa ametoka shuleni, ako na school uniform, ametoka shuleni saa 12, wanashika mtoto wanamuadhibu vibaya.
Mchuma Udim, Lunchtime News.
Now, the Kenya National Private Security Workers now want the government to save the sector from collapsing, citing the increased emergence of non-regulated private security firms in the country. Speaking in Nairobi, the union's Secretary General, that's Isaac Andabwa, also demanded that the Ministry of Labour fast-track the implementation of the 6% minimum wage increment, as announced in last year's Labour Day celebrations. The workers have at the same time lamented the increased layoffs by the majority of private security firms in the country, rendering many Kenyans in the sector into undue suffering.
Why should the government license a briefcase company, an investor who is not generating income for the same government, and force those ones who are paying taxes to close the shop?
Right now we are seeing the private security sector becoming burgeoning, but again precarious at the same time. It's growing rapidly with the people who don't pay tax and floating several labor laws. They don't respect human rights. At the same time, many are going home.
Ile mambo inatusumbua zaidi. Kampuni ndogo zimekuja kumaliza kampuni kubwa. Mpaka kampuni kubwa sasa zimeshindwa hata kulipa wafanyikazi. Mahali tunaelekea hata minimum wage hatuna, overtime hatuna, mpaka tunashindwa tuelekee wapi.
Hiyo 6% ile ameongeza last year, kuna watu hata mpaka leo hawajaongeza. Kwa hivyo tunataka waziri ya leba
hiyo tunahitaji
afuatiliwe, tuongeze hiyo 6%, tunaumia sisi.
Now, a task force collecting views with a view to address femicide and gender-based violence held its sitting in Isiolo County. Led by Michael Kariuki, the task force noted that retrogressive cultural practices such as female genital mutilation, early and forced marriages are main contributors to the vice within the county. The task force established there is inadequate data, as rarely GBV cases are documented, which hampers efforts to formulate interventions that will help stop the cases. They further recommended safe spaces in high schools or colleges be established for victims to report without fear of victimization.
Is one of the major causes of GBV, including femicide, in this county.
A lot of unreported cases are there due to
maybe fear of victimization, maybe even from the duty bearers. Sisi tumechukua maoni, and from what also they have given as recommendations, we'll put it together and have it implemented, or give the authority the right data for them to be able to take action.
Still on gender-based violence, residents of Samburu County are recommending the development of policies that will help curb gender-based violence in the county. During a public participation by the Technical Working Group on Gender-Based Violence, the residents recommended creation of a clear framework for identifying, reporting and prosecuting cases of gender-based violence, as well as waiving the cost of litigation when filing cases in court.
Tunapendekeza kwamba serikali iweke gharama yake zero kabisa, itoe gharama yoyote kwa muhusika wa unyanyasaji wa kijinsia. Ndio hii sheria, wakati mtu anajipata awe hana gharama ingine kubwa mbali na madhara ambayo amepata wakati amefanyiwa dhulma.
GBV is a real issue in this county. There's a significant amount of gender-based violence, particularly in the form of FGM and early marriages. They identify the root causes as including cultural practices that have existed for a long time, drug abuse and other violent vices that emerge with technology. And their recommendations include creating deeper and more robust awareness in their communities, providing safe houses and safe shelters for their communities, as well as financing to a greater extent interventions that support GBV and ending GBV and femicide.
Government should look for ways to open up the land, maybe by constructing the roads to the interiors, that will even reduce insecurity in the area.
Now, a section of residents in Embu County say they have benefited fully from the Social Health Authority program, noting that it has eased pressure on families and improved health service delivery. CEC in charge of health, Jamal Runyenje, claims that so far 84 out of Embu's 104 health facilities have made SHA claims, totaling around 232 million shillings.
Free disabilities in Nairobi.
Tu kutoka. Okay, nilikuwa nasikia tu haifanyi, but venye nilikuja huku niliambiwa ni register, na nikiregister imefanya.
SHA inatusaidia sisi katika level 5 tukiwa ndani ya wondi, tukiwa tumelazwa. Hiyo ndio inasaidia na tunalipiwa bill za hospitali. Lakini ile hailipwi ni level 4, level 3 na level 2. So tafadhali tujue hivyo ili tusikuje level 5.
Hili mimi naweza kuconfirm SHA inafanya kazi hapa Embu, na hata katika miaka 12 ya ugatuzi kuna wakati revenue ya huduma ya afya imekuwa nzuri kama sasa. Tunaweza kupokea mapato ile ambaye tumefanyia kazi.
The Nursing Council of Kenya is calling for better pay and support for nurses, highlighting their critical role in the country's healthcare system. The officials urged nurses to embrace entrepreneurship as a means of boosting the economy and reducing over-reliance on technology. The call came during celebrations to mark International Nurses Week held at Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital.
I want to zero in so much on the economic power of care, which most of our nurses don't think about. We really need to be in an entrepreneurship, and we really need to see how best can we generate economy. It's not only entrepreneurship, but you really need to understand also those lines. But the true strength of this service lies not just with the machines. It lies in the nurses who operate besides every other person.
The theme this year reminds us that when we invest in our nurses through fair wages, safe working conditions, proper staffing ratios, and education, we are not only supporting individuals, but fueling healthier populations, more resilient healthcare systems, and sustainable economic growth.
Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of Performance and Delivery Management in the Office of the President, Eliud Owalo, says Kenya should urgently embrace and shape artificial intelligence as a transformative force to secure a sustainable and inclusive future. In his keynote address during the official opening of a 2-day international multidisciplinary conference at Rongo University, Migori County, Owalo called for an African-driven AI agenda grounded in ethics, inclusion, and relevance to local realities. The theme of the forum that brought together researchers, educators, policymakers, and industry experts is harnessing artificial intelligence and innovation for a sustainable future and advancing global resilience.
And I therefore urge institutions such as Rongo University to effectively integrate AI and other emerging technologies and digital literacy across all fields of study, from science and engineering to agriculture, health, and even humanities. I encourage you to promote interdisciplinary research that addresses real-world challenges, especially those affecting our rural communities.
And in a historic first, Makueni County has achieved a breakthrough in healthcare. Local doctors at the Makueni County Referral Hospital have successfully conducted the first brain tumor surgery, an achievement many once thought could only happen in Nairobi or abroad. It is a story of skill, dedication, and changing the future of rural healthcare. Ben Chumba brings us the inspiring story of hope, healing, and a new chapter for one patient and an entire county.
In a hospital once known for basic care, a medical milestone has just been carved, one stitch, one heartbeat, and one brave decision at a time. For months he endured unbearable migraines and unpredictable seizures. At 69 he feared the worst, but what he never expected was that the answer to his suffering lay right in Makueni. Behind these walls, history was made. For the first time, a brain tumor was successfully removed in Makueni County, a feat once reserved for Nairobi's top referral hospitals. The high-risk operation lasted over 6 hours. At the helm, consultant neurosurgeon Dr. Muthoka Mativo and Dr. Angela Murunga. Their mission, to remove a life-threatening tumor without compromising brain function.
He had a brain tumor, a frontal lobe tumor, and we were able to do the whole case, everything from start to finish, here in Makueni, in the county hospital at Wote. We've also been able to keep the patient in ICU. He's doing very well, actually. I was able to see him today in the morning, and so we can say that our operation was successful.
Si tukiingia tulikuwa ready kwenda KNH because tulikuwa tumeambiwa hakuna such services Makueni, lakini vile tulifika tumepata daktari mzuri, akatushughulikia, akatuelezea process vile iko na vile watafanya, akasema ni kitu inaweza fanyika Makueni na hivyo hatufai kwenda KNH.
For county health officials, this was more than a medical success. It was a policy vision realized.
We started in our efforts in other counties. We've also tried, we've been trying to get this done here in Wote, in Makueni County. And yesterday we were actually successful.
Hii ni step kubwa sana from what happened like a year and a half ago. Hatukuwa na hizo services. Ilibidi tumeenda Kenyatta.
It tells the people of this country that devolution is working, and with a good support system, especially with a good leadership to that, and what the future holds for us.
The patient is now recovering steadily, surrounded not just by machines and medicine, but by the comfort of family, culture, and community. And for future patients, this operating room is no longer a last resort, but a first hope. Ben Chumba, Lunchtime News.
Chief Justice Martha Koome has committed to facilitating the formulation of regulations that will help implement the recently signed Disabilities Act. The act is aimed at improving access to justice for persons with disabilities. These and other stories in our County News Roundup.
During the Africa Regional Conference on Access to Justice for Persons with Disabilities in Nairobi, Chief Justice Martha Koome said the implementation of the Disabilities Act, assented to by President William Ruto last week, will also help attain the employment target of 5% of persons with disabilities that now stands at 1.5% by Judicial Service Commission.
We act in solidarity towards advancing access to justice for persons with a disability, which is really a constitutional command or imperative.
We intend to do the work that we want through legal reforms and to ensure compliance with the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities.
And residents of Ashabito in Mandera North, Mandera County will now have easy access to government services after the launch of Huduma Smart Serikalini initiative in the region. The initiative was launched by Public Service Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Ruku.
Huduma zote za serikali, kupata kitambulisho, kupata cheti ya birth certificate, kupata mambo ambayo inahusu vieti kama good conduct, kupata passport, zile watoto wetu wangetaka wapate passport, zitakuwa zinafika kwa karibu kuliko mbeleni.
In Laikipia County, tenants in Nanyuki town occupying a building owned by former ruling party KANU have obtained a reprieve after court stopped their planned eviction. In Kericho County, 31 TVET institutions in South Rift will benefit from a training on recognition of prior learning courtesy of the government's transformational change in TVET institutions.
There has been a mismatch in terms of what is required by the employer and what our young people are being equipped. And so this is one of the reforms that the government has embraced to ensure that there is relevance, there is a breadth of relevance and currency in terms of what our trainees are being equipped with. And so that speaks to credibility of qualifications as well.
Finally, MP Shah Hospital has launched the Spring Valley Medical Center in a bid to improve the healthcare sector in the country.
This is our third satellite center, and we are so proud of the achievements of the MP Shah Hospital. Our vision as the MP Shah Hospital is to ensure that each and every of our satellite centers is a center of excellence to your wellness.
Martini Maslin for Prime Edition.
The chairperson of the Presidential Technical Working Group on Gender-Based Violence, Anne Ireri, has urged victims of gender-based violence to report abuse cases to help authorities apprehend perpetrators. Her remarks come amid rising cases of femicide and gender-based violence witnessed across the country. The judiciary has also been urged to expedite cases timely and impose the ultimate penalty for perpetrators.
Ni kusisitiza ya kwamba turipoti aidha kwa walimu kama ni shuleni, kwa viongozi wa dini, kwa idara ya kitengo cha polisi cha usalama, mahospitali, tuweze kuzungumza na kujitokeza kesi hizi. Changamoto moja tumeona ni ya kwamba kesi ambazo zimejitokeleza nje ni nyingi zaidi kushinda zile ambazo zinaripotiwa. Kwa hivyo tuweze kuripoti ili tupate statistics, na statistics ni muhimu kwa sababu hata katika upangakazi wa serikali itajua ya kwamba kesi ni fulani, ni namba fulani. Kwa hivyo resources ama njia ya kupesa ifuate idara ambazo ziko na majukumu ili yaweze kutimiza malengo yao.
Tumeambiwa strictly watu BNB waweze kuregister anybody who comes to their BNB. Wasikubali tu kupatiana room bila kujua ni nani. Ndio kama kuna msichana mdogo hajafika ile umri wanaweza kutoa alert. Wana alert the area chief na wale wengine. So hiyo pia tunaangalia na tutazidi kushirikiana na vitengo zote za kiserikali.
Manake mtoto mdogo unamtolea ile dignity yake. Wengine hata wanaua watoto wadogo kwa sababu mtoto mdogo hawezi kumuhimili mtu mzima, na tumekuwa na hizi cases. Kwa hiyo mimi nasema tu sheria iwekwe, watu wamalizwe tu, ndio itakuwa tumeweka mstari vizuri. Mwenye kutaka aoe mwanamke akae naye, lakini ukipatikana unaua na wewe pia uuliwe.
Ile koti ya watoto inashughulika na masuala ya watoto. Basi tuwe na koti ya jinsia ambayo inashughulika na masuala ya jinsia, ili kesi hizi zisichukue muda. Ikienda sana ni miezi 6, miezi 7, kesi ziwe zimemalizwa. Kama mtu ni kufungwa afungwe, ili yule mwathiriwa aone ya kwamba amepata haki.
The government, in partnership with donors, have constructed a maternity health center in the border areas of Samburu and Baringo counties to help ease access to maternal health care. The hospital will help curb the crime that has become a threat to the area residents. The residents lamented that pregnant women were forced to deliver at home, a move that contributed to high mortality rates. However, they are positive that such cases will come to an end following the establishment of the hospital. The hospital is equipped with modern delivery equipment that will help improve reproductive health for the pastoral community.
Hii hospitali itatustafu sisi wote, hata kwa wale wenzetu ambayo wa upande wa Baringo ambayo tunapakana nao hapa. Ni kama hata hii hospitali italeta hata mambo ya amani.
Kitambo sisi hakuna maternity, sisi naenda mbali, napata shida, na hata kwa msituni napata shida mingi.
Hii miradi itatusaidia sana watu hapa, kwa sababu italete huduma ya maternity kwa karibu sana kwa wananchi wetu hapa. Na pia hii miradi ililetwa hapa hivi kwa sababu ya maneno ya usalama. Kwa sababu hii miradi tunatarajia kwamba itaweza kusafa wananchi wote ambayo wako karibu na hii miradi.
Well, the world is celebrating Global Accessibility Awareness Day every third Thursday of May, and today is that day. We shall be having a conversation on accessibility for persons with disabilities in just a little bit. Stay with us. We come back after this break.
With every bit that falls, power shifts.
I want them to feel the emptiness I feel.
All of our property and assets shall be left to Amichir Achesa.
Our legacy unravels.
Mimi ndio sheria, mfalme wale Murat.
Who will be left standing when the last beat falls? Shanga Season 2, Monday to Friday at 8 p.m. on Maisha Magic Plus. Stay connected to DSTV Channel 163 and GoTV Channel 3.
We want to delve on effective communication.
You see, communication is a two-way.
Yes.
Right?
So there's a difference between talking to each other and talking at each other.
So active listening is being fully present, 100% listening to what the person is talking about. The other one, you need to have emotional intelligence, self-awareness.
The whole concept of emotional intelligence. Some of us, the way we speak, inakuanga vile na feel, mtu wangu acha tu niseme vile na feel. And when you look at that, you realize you are not sensitive.
The more he tries to impress me, the clearer I see who he is. Sikuelewi. The way I know Alex and his finances, ametoa hizo pesa Jane.
History ya Pete iko aje? Pete should stop meddling into other people's affairs.
Nini mbaya?
Si makosa yangu Pete alienda huko nje akaanza kufuata stories za watu. Sasa amepotea na blamiwa. Mbona?
Calm
I'm calm. Yeah, I'm calm.
Who said Pete is in trouble?
Hautashika simu.
Knowing everything about what Alex has done for your dad, why wouldn't he support him?
But Alex is not my father's son, is he?
Welcome back. You're watching Lunchtime News. Now to some business news. Coop Bank made 6.9 billion shillings in net profit during the first 3 months of this year, mainly driven by higher total interest income. The profit that represents a 5.3% was realized after an interest income increased 14.4% to 22.2 billion shillings.
Coop Bank increased the net loans and advances to customers to 485.5 billion shillings during the first 3 months of this year, up from 378.1 billion shillings during a similar period in 2024. These earned the lender 13.96 billion shillings in interest income from loans and advances. In addition, Coop Bank booked 7.03 billion shillings in interest income from government securities. The two were responsible for driving up the total interest income from 19.4 billion shillings to 22.2 billion shillings, representing a 14.4% growth. Additionally, total non-interest income was flat at 6.94 billion shillings as an increase in fees and commissions were offset by a 44.6% dip in income from forex trading to 800 million. Other key highlights include total assets increasing 8.3% to 774.1 billion shillings and customer deposits rising 9% to 525.2 billion shillings. Total operating expenses increased 19.1% to 11.7 billion shillings, mainly on account of higher staff costs after the lender opened 15 additional bank branches. Coop Bank Group Managing Director Muriuki says the group is pursuing strategic initiatives supported by an innovative digital presence, over 9.4 million account holders, and the unique synergies with the cooperative movement will anchor growth.
And there is need for financial institutions to increase support for micro, small and medium-sized enterprises, which are the engine of growth. CDN Bank Chief Executive Shege Thumbi said small businesses employ 14.9 million Kenyans in various sectors of the economy, hence the need to enhance their support for more impact. Thumbi made the remarks at the lender's new branch at T Square Mall in Nairobi that has been relocated from Buruburu.
In the coming days, in our journey to achieve 100 branches across the entire country, coming closer to our customers, SME customers, Mashinani, we want to be there supporting our customers. And the Buruburu branch, which is part of the Eastrats, our focus is to continue that transformation.
Now, today the world is reflecting on global accessibility awareness. And it is observed every third Thursday of May. And today we shall be talking about digital accessibility. Across the world, there are 1.3 billion persons with disability, and in Africa, 16% of Africa's 1.4 billion persons are persons with disabilities. So to have this conversation is Julius Mbura. He is the Legal and Advocacy Officer at Enable. Karibu sana, Julius.
Asante sana.
Great. Now, today, what exactly are we reflecting on when we talk about Global Accessibility Awareness Day?
So the day is supposed to make us reflect on
what steps have been made to make sure that persons with disabilities are not left out, especially in the digital environment. We are in the digital era, so every person with disability should have a form of access to online and also information. So when we say that we are going digital, it means that every platform, every website, every app, or any digital asset should be super accessible for persons with disabilities. This includes components like screen readers that blind people like me use, sign language interpretation or closed captioning, and also for those who have cognitive and neurodiverse, simplified language so that they understand.
As we reflect on this, what is the current state in Kenya in terms of accessibility?
I would say we are not badly off, but we need to embrace different aspects of accessibility because what the challenge has been over the past few years is that we preach accessibility, but the people who are coming up with different platforms, websites, they don't embed accessibility from the get-go. So it becomes an issue. Say, for example, when I try access a service or a product, if it's not accessible, if it's not built with accessibility, then it becomes a barrier. Yeah.
And it's good that you mentioned the barriers. So I'd like to understand the people who are supposed to be solving these problems. Are they aware of it? And I know that there's a law that was signed into, an act that was signed into law the other day by the president.
Yeah.
Please tell us how this is also going to change the landscape for accessibility by persons with disabilities.
I would say most people are not aware, and what needs to happen now is that we need to raise awareness on what accessibility, digital accessibility looks like. And as Enable, we are at the home of ensuring that persons with disabilities, starting with visually impaired, get the computer skills that they need to ensure that they also integrate into the digital environment. The law that you're saying, the Disability Act of 2025, it has given provisions, and it actually says that all public and private sector should ensure, and it's a must, that they comply to the ICT accessibility standard. If you're wondering what this is, it's a standard that actually, with conjunction with KEBS, we launched, and it's the first ICT accessibility standard in Africa. So what we've done is that we've broken down these different aspects of what ICT accessibility looks like and what needs to be done, even by suppliers or procurement officers, to ensure that even gadgets that are coming in and devices, they are very accessible. There's what we call assistive technology. Assistive technology enables persons with disabilities to have that access of information and also have the navigational independence that they require. Like, for example, when I'm using my phone, I'm using a screen reader, which is essentially an assistive technology. Yeah.
We know that we are in the digital world right now, and a lot of opportunities are online. Please tell us the impact of not including or ensuring that there is inclusivity in these platforms. What exactly does it do, or what kind of opportunities are persons with disabilities missing?
We miss a lot of opportunities, starting with education. Right now with the CBE, they are very dependent on online these ICT devices. So if they are not accessible, then persons with disabilities, and you can imagine, say for blind students, the primary communication method for them is Braille. That is not in any way ICT compliant. So if you don't make sure that they have the right tools, the right accessibility features, then they are missing out on education. We're missing out on public and even private services like healthcare, because right now SHA has gone, digital, and even the government services, the e-citizen. If it's not accessible, the whole platform, then it means I cannot get in and actually navigate from point A to point B by myself. So it begs that we depend on other people, which takes a lot of independence from us, and also infringes on privacy. So even for the elections, I know we are headed there, if they're not made accessible, then we don't participate. So we miss out on participation on different levels of even developing economy in Kenya if we don't make them accessible.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell us about any initiatives that are being taken to just increase this awareness and ensure that there's more coverage.
There are so many initiatives. I'll talk about some of them. We have the Inclusive Africa Conference, which is a conference that we plan as Enable, and we bring thought leaders in the disability space from all over the world. We bring on board different African countries, up to 30 of them. And what we do is that we compare what is being done on the ground and what needs to be done. There are innovators that come, and this is happening coming next month from 3rd to 5th, where we'll be having, innovators, venture capitalists, people who've been in the space and who are really driving positive change, and also trying to talk and looking forward to what technology holds for persons with disabilities, like AI. And we have also people who are trying to pioneer solutions that will help persons with disabilities, like white canes that are smart canes, and also different movements like what we've seen with the Disability Act, which is very positive, and also different policies that are being brought on board, like the ICT accessibility standard.
Right.
Yeah.
So as we come to a close of this conversation, Julius, I'd like you to speak to Kenyans on what they can do to support persons with disabilities, even if it's from a personal standpoint.
Yeah, I would say in whatever capacity, if you think and if you can contribute positively to digital accessibility. We are also still struggling with physical accessibility. Just do it at your level. And if we combine the efforts of different people, different sectors, then you find that inclusion becomes easier, because we cannot drive and we cannot talk about disability inclusion if there is no digital accessibility at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us. That is Julius Mbura, Legal and Advocacy Officer at Enable, just reflecting on exactly what it means for persons with disabilities to have access to digital platforms and products so that they can also live a normal life like everyone else. We move on to other news now. Investors in the leased government-owned sugar factories are expected to invest a combined 6.5 billion shillings to revitalize the sugar subsector. Kenya Sugar Board Chairperson Nicholas Gumbo says the leasing will operationalize the sugar development levy that will go towards sugarcane and infrastructure development.
The fact that we have settled on these 4 companies is largely based on their competitiveness and their track record running similar operations within the country. As to the 30 years, I personally would think it is optimal, because these guys have to realize a return on investment. It will take time for them now to get to optimal levels of production, and so many modeling has gone into this, and from where I sit, I think that is the time that they will need now to be able now to put these factories on a profitability footing, while also realizing their return on investment.
There's going to be free trade within Africa as a continent. So what will happen? Cargo sugar is going to be coming into Kenya duty free, and we have ratified. So it is compulsory that our prices of cane and sugar must be competitive for those farmers to flourish, for the factories also to flourish.
And pension fund managers have lauded the proposed tax exemptions on gratuity and pension payments as outlined in the 2025 Finance Bill. Pension Fund Administrator CPF says if the proposal passes as is, it has the potential to boost retirement savings and improve the financial security of retirees.
President William Ruto's declaration on May 1st this year during the 60th Labor Day celebrations confirmed that both pension and gratuity payments will now be exempt from taxation. Industry stakeholders have expressed strong support for the government's tax reforms, highlighting their potential to boost retirement savings and improve the financial security of retirees.
That's been long in coming, and we have been fighting for it. I think it is the best news for the pensioners. The only thing is that there are not many people actually who are saving for retirement. So I think now that there is going to be total exemption, I want to ask all of you young people, kindly save for your own retirement.
The CPA Foundation launched a program designed to support the elderly by enhancing their quality of life financially and socially.
The reason is that there is a big challenge in terms of their health care. Having been in the insurance sector and the retirement benefit industry, I realized that the industry, the insurance, will be a bit risk-averse.
Frederick Muki for Lunchtime News.
Absa Bank Kenya has sealed a strategic partnership with Women's World Banking to deepen financial inclusion and enhance support for women entrepreneurs across Kenya. Absa Bank Kenya head of SME Banking, Erastus Muthura, says the partnership will serve as a catalyst for delivering sustainable solutions as well as break systemic barriers that women face in accessing financial and business support.
So the partnership we have signed today, which we are excited about, signing with the Women's World Banking, is going to help the women-led businesses and women entrepreneurs across the whole country be able to access the advantages of the global expertise that we have from Women's World Banking, combining with our local expertise through our SHE proposition or women-led proposition that we have at the bank, so that they can access capacity to build their businesses, to be able to expand, access to credit, access to training, and other digital tools that can help them expand their businesses across.
Banking's mission is to make sure that underserved communities have access to the full range of financial services, but particularly for SMEs to have access to productive credit to grow their businesses. So we're very excited about the first part of the project, which is going to particularly serve the underserved community of the agriculture sector, where 70% of the sector are employing women.
And now we want to take you to Westlands, where the International Day of Families is being marked. The Principal Secretary in charge of Social Protection and Senior Citizen Affairs, Joseph Motari, is currently speaking. Let's listen into that.
Ask anything, you tell your son, please Google. Google. The cultural history, the cultural moment is not in the heads anymore. We have lost it completely. So it is high time we go back to a little bit borrowing from our cultures. When I used to go, when I was growing myself, because I'm not a victim of the new technology, I just found technology at the university and thereafter. Actually, I found technology when I was working. Yeah? Me, I'm a very old man. Don't see me like this. Very old. I found technology when I was working. But when my dad used to go to the farm, I used to carry a tree, small tree sharpened like a panga, sharpened both sides, that I would pretend that I'm slashing and preparing for the farm. When the ladies, the sisters used to go with the mothers, they used to carry some kind of structures which looks like a pot to fetch water and also to get the vegetables from the gardens. Charles, is it true or false? Is it being done anymore? A child is born, when that child cries, the only thing that child is it's a phone. At that level, a child wants to suckle, and you feel you don't want to do it there. The only thing you do it is to give this child a phone. I think we are really being rained on. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this national celebration, making the 31st anniversary of the United Nations International Day of Families. The United Nations General Assembly, through Resolution 47 of 237 of 20th of September 1993, proclaimed that May 15th of each year be observed globally as the International Day of Families. This observance emphasizes the fundamental role of the family as the cornerstone of society. But I think the cornerstone was since removed. It is my honor and privilege to address you today on a theme that lies at the heart of our nation's strength and a shared future: building families, strengthening communities through generational solidarity for a peaceful Kenya. The objective of this year's celebration is to raise awareness and promote intergenerational solidarity in order to strengthen family well-being, resilience, and social cohesion, and critical pillars for a peaceful and prosperous Kenya. Our diverse communities form the heartbeat of our national identity. At the very center of these communities is a family unit where values are nurtured, traditions upheld, and resilience instilled. Building strong families means fostering meaningful relations across generations, where the wisdom of elders informs the path of our youth. When children grow up immersed in values of love, unity, respect, integrity, and responsibility, they become champions of peace and progress and the stewards of the Kenya we all aspire to build. The Gen Z spoke here. The only time they connect with the parent is when this parent is looking for SAP and other things.
That is Joseph Motari, the Principal Secretary for Social Protection, speaking at the celebrations of the United Nations International Day for Families 2025. And of course, he's urging parents to consider picking up from the cultural values that have been forgotten, which were very much family-centered. Of course, we shall have a detailed report in our subsequent bulletins on those celebrations. Now we go to sports news, where the Kenya Simbas are set to host the United Arab Emirates rugby team in a build-up match on the 24th of this month at the RFUEA grounds. The match is a crucial part of Simba's preparation for the Rugby Africa Cup that will also be used to qualify for the 2027 Rugby World Cup. Simbas are currently in camp in Kakamega, where Jerome Powerwater has called up a provisional squad of 50 players. 33 players will be selected for a short pre-departure camp before departing on the 28th of May for a high-performance tour in South Africa. Powerwater outlined the structure will be split into two phases, with the first phase running from the 28th of May to the 22nd of June in Cape Town, in partnership with Western Province. The second phase will go from the 22nd of June to the 27th of July in Nilstrom, where they will collaborate with the Blue Bulls. Step toward developing the future of football in the country. This was affirmed by the FKF General Secretary Harold Ndege when he led a high-profile delegation to Machakos County, where plans for a new technical center are quickly taking shape. Ndege was flanked by key federal officials, including Football Development Director Francis Kimanzi and National Teams Coordinator Athanas Obango Obala, when they paid a courtesy call to the Machakos County leadership. Machakos is set to host the upcoming FKF Technical Center, which is a state-of-the-art facility that will sit on a 20-acre parcel in the newly planned Machakos city. The technical center will serve as a training hub for coaches, referees and national teams and is aimed at elevating standards across the board. The groundbreaking ceremony for the project is tentatively scheduled for mid-June, with Machakos County officials pledging their full support for the initiative.
To collaborate with the Football Kenya Federation in conjunction with FIFA to have this project, the technical center, to be built within their county premises. The technical center is going to serve the youth, the elite coaching, the referees, the elite players.
It's going to be very impactful towards the development of soccer in Kenya, in East Africa, in Africa, because this is a big project and we're very keen to see how the youth of our country are going to develop talent, because talent is also a source of economic empowerment.
It's no elite without grassroots. So from where I see it, I think it's very important that we have that center here. You know, Machakos is strategically well set.
Now, Dan Ndoye's 53rd minute goal ensured Bologna's 1-0 victory over AC Milan to win the Coppa Italia final and end their 51-year wait for a major trophy. It was the first major honor for their manager Vincenzo Italiano, who lost 3 finals in the previous 2 seasons with Fiorentina. The win also means Bologna will play in next season's Europa League.
Here's Fabian, poked through, Orsolini, and here's Dan Ndoye. If he can get the shot.
And Real Madrid beat Mallorca 2-1 to force Barcelona to wait another day for the La Liga title. Martin Vaillant gave Mallorca the lead in the 11th minute before Kylian Mbappe leveled the score later in the second half. Jacobo Ramon's 95th minute winning goal for the Los Blancos assured them all 3 points. La Liga leaders Barcelona face Espanyol tonight. And on that note, we put a cap to the lunchtime news here on KBC Channel 1. Thank you very much for your valued company from the entire team that made this possible. My name is Betty Kiptum and Lucy Maura is my colleague on the sign language interpretation. Bye-bye.
Involve yourself with my businesses again.
What do you want?
Prodigal daughter. When is your prodigal mother coming back?
Hiyo familia iko na maneno.
Kwanza huyo wakili wao.
Nipe yeye nikuonyeshe.
I'm sure Ronald will finally agree. You know how your data works, don't you?
How